How to fix Valorant Secure Boot error Windows 11. Welcome back to Teknobalta. During our extensive testing of Windows 11 gaming environments, our technical team encountered the infamous Vanguard Secure Boot error preventing access to Valorant. Teknobalta's investigation revealed that even when the motherboard firmware indicates security measures are active, the operating system may still fail to recognize their operational state. We have compiled a definitive deep dive guide detailing every hardware and software layer required to permanently resolve this strict anti-cheat enforcement. Our first diagnostic step involves verifying the actual operating system state rather than trusting the motherboard interface blindly. By pressing the Windows key, typing system information, and launching the application, we can locate the Secure Boot state entry. If this value reads off or unsupported, the cryptographic communication bridge between your hardware and Windows 11 is broken. To properly address the firmware configuration, Teknobalta recommends bypassing the standard restart procedure to prevent fast startup system conflicts. Navigate to Windows Settings, select Recovery, and click Restart Now under the Advanced Startup section to access the pure recovery environment. From there, follow our path through Troubleshoot, Advanced Options, and finally UEFI Firmware Settings to cleanly enter the motherboard interface. Upon entering the firmware configuration, our engineers found that legacy compatibility modules frequently sabotage modern system security protocols. You must locate the Boot tab and completely disable the Compatibility Support Module, commonly referred to as CSM. This ensures the motherboard is not secretly attempting to load older, unverified bootloaders that Riot Vanguard immediately detects and blocks. With legacy modules permanently disabled, the system boot mode must be explicitly locked into pure UEFI operation. During our testing, leaving the boot configuration on auto or legacy plus UEFI allowed the Vanguard engine to detect potential vulnerabilities. Force the configuration strictly to UEFI mode to satisfy the absolute foundational requirement for secure boot activation. Depending on your specific hardware manufacturer, the critical security parameters are usually isolated within dedicated submenus. Navigate through your advanced mode interface and carefully examine both the boot and security tabs to locate the specific secure boot section. Teknobalta advises precise navigation here, as altering unrelated cryptographic features can cause severe system instability. Our deep technical analysis revealed that simply toggling Secure Boot to enabled often fails because the system keys are missing or corrupted. To directly manipulate these keys, you must first change the Secure Boot mode from standard to custom. This critical action unlocks the advanced key management protocol required for our primary structural fix. This is the exact breakthrough Teknobalta discovered that cleanly resolves the false positive disabled state within the Windows kernel. While in custom mode, locate and execute the specific command labeled Restore Factory Keys or Reset to Setup Mode. This forces the motherboard to dump any corrupted security variables and inject a fresh, Microsoft-verified cryptographic platform key. Once the default factory keys are successfully restored to the motherboard memory block, the system must be immediately secured again. Change the Secure Boot mode from custom back down to standard to permanently lock in the newly generated security certificates. Our diagnostics confirm this transition flawlessly bridges the communication gap between the BIOS and the Windows Defender framework. Before exiting this complex menu, our team always verifies that the operation was completely successful to avoid endless operating system reboot loops. Look closely at the platform key status line within the exact same menu to ensure it now officially reads as enrolled or active. An unloaded platform key virtually guarantees Vanguard will instantly crash your game client upon launch. Secure Boot cannot function independently under Riot Vanguard's incredibly strict Windows 11 architectural requirements. Navigate to your Advanced CPU Configuration or Trusted Computing tab to locate the dedicated TPM module hardware settings. Teknobalta strictly advises setting Intel PTT or AMD FTPM to the fully enabled state to create a unified secure environment. If the firmware stubbornly refuses to accept the factory key restoration, our hardware team utilizes a manual physical reset technique. Disconnect the system from all external power sources and carefully remove the circular CMOS battery from the motherboard for exactly 5 minutes. This initiates a total hardware voltage drain, forcing the BIOS to forget any corrupted security loops upon the very next boot sequence. During our isolated laboratory testing, we noticed older motherboard firmware versions simply lack the proper instruction sets for modern secure boot integration. Download the absolute latest stable BIOS update from your specific manufacturer's official support page onto a cleanly formatted flash drive. Flash the firmware using the built-in utility to dynamically rewrite the underlying hardware security architecture completely. Hardware adjustments alone may not trigger a system reset if the Vanguard background service has already cached the previous failure state. Open Windows Settings, navigate to Installed Apps, and completely uninstall the Riot Vanguard anti-cheat software package. Our technical team prefers starting with a perfectly clean slate to force the software to completely reevaluate the new BIOS configuration. Standard uninstallation procedures frequently leave behind corrupted configuration logs that continuously trigger the secure boot restriction error. Open your command prompt as a system administrator and execute the deletion sequence to wipe the remaining Vanguard directories residing in your program files. Wiping these remnant tracking files ensures the system builds a completely new cryptographic hardware profile during the next launch. After reinstalling the fresh software, Teknobalta recommends proactively securing the Vanguard backend service to completely prevent background startup timeouts. Press the Windows key, type Services, and slowly scroll down until you locate the active VGC service process. Right-click this specific service, open its advanced properties, and forcefully set the startup type from manual directly to automatic. Our advanced system diagnostics uncovered a strange conflict between Windows virtualization-based security and kernel-level gaming anti-cheat engines. Open your Windows Security dashboard, navigate to Device Security, and click directly on the Core Isolation feature details. Temporarily disabling memory integrity here can immediately stop the operating system from aggressively blocking Vanguard's boot sector authentication requests. To finalize the software synchronization, the game client must be explicitly executed with fully elevated system privileges. Right-click your Valorant desktop shortcut and deliberately select Run as Administrator to instantly bypass any local user account restrictions. This ensures the freshly installed Vanguard kernel driver has absolute authority to successfully read the restored secure boot keys from the motherboard. The newly established cryptographic security chain requires one final, perfectly clean system initialization to permanently bind the keys to the Windows kernel. Perform a complete system restart rather than a standard system shutdown to cleanly bypass the entire Windows fast startup cache. Upon returning to the desktop environment, launch the Riot client, and you will find the Vanguard Secure Boot restriction completely eliminated. We are confident that these rigorous, step-by-step technical procedures have fully restored your system's exact compliance with modern gaming security standards. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.